the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging. Picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Well, hello and welcome to the African News on Voice of the People Television. I am David Edwin. Before we begin the news, we would urge you to kindly visit our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news stories. We begin the African news from Nigeria, where Nigeria has moved to provide asylum and protection for Guinea-Bissau's opposition presidential candidate, Fernando Diaz da Costa, following reported threats to his life after last week's military coup. The coup was announced by military officers last Wednesday, just days after Guinea-Bissau's presidential election, in which both incumbent President Umaru Sissoco Embalo and his main challenger, Da Costa, claimed victory before official results were released. Nigeria's former President Goodluck Jonathan, who led ECOWAS observer team to the poll, questioned the genuineness of the coup, hinting that it was triggered by President Sissoco Embalo. In a November 30th letter to the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Torre, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Yusuf Tuga, said President Bola Tinubu had approved asylum and protection for Da Costa inside the Nigerian embassy in Guinea-Bissau. Tuga said the decision was made in response to threats made against Da Costa's life. Moving on, Guinea-Bissau Transitional Foreign Minister João Bernardo Vieira said that a one-year transition proposal would be submitted to an ECOWAS summit scheduled for December the 14th in Abuja, Nigeria, where the transition roadmap will be determined. Vieira spoke after a high-level meeting between the mediation delegation from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and Guinea-Bissau's transitional leaders. He described the talk, which was held to discuss a peaceful end to the current political crisis in the wake of last week's military coup in the country, as very productive. Led by Sierra Leone's president and the bloc's chairman, Julius Bao, the mediators met with authorities led by the transitional president, General Hota Inter-A. Both sides told newsmen after a closed meeting in the capital, Bissau, that they held constructive discussions. However, Bio maintained the organization's stance, condemning power seizure by the military and called for the immediate restoration of the constitutional order and the resumption of electoral process. In another development, the White House has announced that the United States President Donald Trump will host leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, on Thursday. Spokesperson Caroline Lewitt disclosed that DRC President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame will sign a historic peace and economic agreement brokered by Donald Trump. The event comes after the foreign ministers of the two African nations signed a preliminary peace agreement and economic path with a White House event in June. After months of talks, they met in Qatar in November and signed a framework with the ultimate goal of ending the years of fighting. M23 rebels have fought the DRC government in North Kivu province for over a decade in a conflict with roots in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. The rebels, among over 100 groups operating in eastern DRC, comprise primarily of ethnic Tutsi who were targeted by the Hutus in Rwanda. Still on violent conflicts in Africa, Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces, that's the RSF, said it had seized full control of Baba Nusa, a transport junction in the country's oil-producing southern region. In a statement, it announced the capture of the 22nd South Infantry Division in Baba Nusa, with a released social media video showing armed men in RSF uniforms firing guns and cheering outside the gate's infantry decision. In a statement, the RSF said its liberation of Baba Nusa in West Kordofan State, the latest front line in the war in Sudan, came as it repelled a surprise attack by the Sudanese army in what it called a clear violation of the humanitarian truce. United States President Donald Trump had said in November 19th that he would intervene to stop the conflict that broke out in April 2023. And away from that report, Senegalese President Bassirou Faye has declared the struggle for Traoré massacre as a fight for the soul of Senegal and Africa. Faye stated during a ceremony in Dakar on the 81st anniversary of the Traoré massacre that the fight was to ensure that no person will ever again be denied their history, their dignity, or even their rights to exist freely. He declared that the fight for justice will never be erased from people's collective memory, adding that bloodshed was that of Africa. The fight at the military barracks in the town of Traoré saw French forces kill African soldiers who had fought for France during World War II under colonial rule and returned to Senegal in 1944. Before the ceremony, President Faye and foreign guests laid wreaths at the symbolic military cemetery in Traoré with diplomatic representatives and numerous invited guests, including the families of Senegalese soldiers who served in France's colonial army, also in attendance. Moving on, the International Court, that's the ICC, says it has taken into custody Khalid El-Hishri, who is wanted for allegedly committing crimes against humanity and war crimes in Libya between 2015 and 2020. El-Hishri was surrendered to the custody of the court in The Hague, the Netherlands, by authorities in Germany, where he was arrested on July the 16th this year. According to an ICC statement, El-Hishri is alleged to have been one of the most senior Mitiga prison officials where thousands of persons were detained for prolonged periods. The ICC further disclosed that he was suspected of having committed directly himself, ordered or overseen crimes against humanity and war crimes, including murder, torture, rape, and sexual violence allegedly committed in Libya from February 2015 to early 2020. The ICC has been investigating alleged crimes against humanity and war crimes committed in Libya since March 2011, following a request from the United Nations Security Council. Still in Libya, Libya's Tripoli-based Prime Minister Abdul Jabbar has been in talks with the commander of the United States African Command, AFRICOM, Dagvin Anderson, to discuss strengthening military cooperation between the two sides. Discussions focused on ways to enhance military cooperation between Libya and the U.S., with an emphasis on training, equipment, and capacity building programs, according to the Libyan government. In the statement, the premier stressed the importance of supporting Libya's military institution through effective partnership and high-quality training programs. He affirmed his government's commitment to strengthening security and stability and combating threats in the region. On his part, Anderson confirmed AFRICOM's commitment to providing support and underlined the importance of continued coordination to serve regional security. And from Namibia, from Libya, we'll go straight to Namibia, where Namibia's President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has appointed Modestus Amutse as the Southern African country's new Minister of Mines, Energy and Industry. Amutse's appointment comes after President Nandi-Ndaitwah removed Natangwe Iheti from the position in November. The resource-rich Namibia is aiming for its first crude oil production by 2030 after several major discoveries in recent years. It mines commodities like uranium and diamonds. The statement from the president's office said Amutse had previously served as Deputy Minister of Information and Communication Technology and before that was a member of the parliament. You're still watching the African News right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories and more is Barrister Darlington Agumo. Barrister Darlington is a legal practitioner right here in Nigeria and also on this white table, public and political affairs analyst and commentator. Barrister, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, David. And how are you?
I'm fine, very well. Thank you, Barrister. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
All right, then, Barrister, let's go straight to this conversation. I'm going to start off from Libya, where, as it stands, Libya's Tripoli-based Prime Minister, Abdul Jabbar, has begun talks with the United States African Command. United States African Command, that's AFRICOM, the head, I'm talking about Dagvin Anderson, to discuss strengthening military cooperation between the two sides. First, what I want to find out from you, Barrister, is what do you think this base of conversation is really going to have, owing to the fact that Libya has two governments in power in that country?
Yeah, the discussion will bear fruit in the sense that, you know, when these Western allies are shopping for friends, they are looking for a friend that will be beneficial to them.
Okay. And
so the discussion, of course, depending on who is talking to AFRICOM, it's all about security.
Right.
Whether this particular person will give them the leeway to have a base in Libya. Because so far, this African, America have up to 10 bases in Africa. You know?
Right.
It's all about watching over Africa, watching over the world from Africa, watching over some other powers from Africa.
Okay.
That has been the aim of these world powers. So if anybody can give them that leeway, why not, if not? And maybe it will help to protect them and all that. So that's what they're looking for.
But then, looking at the fact that this is about, strengthening military cooperation between the two sides, and basically also it's clearly talking on the part of equipment, capacity building programs, and all. The government in Benghazi is on one part. The government in Tripoli is on another part. Should AFRICOM want to have a conversation? Shouldn't these be a holistical approach? Trying to galvanize both governments together rather than just one side of Libya.
As long as there is peace in Libya as of today, as long as...
a relative peace, Barrister.
Yeah, relative peace, because I don't think America want to make the same mistake they made before in Libya. You know, Obama made a mistake when he removed Muammar Gaddafi without bringing a replacement that will stabilize Libya. And so if there is relative peace there, their presence will even help to bring the two parts together.
Okay.
I think that's what they're looking at. Their presence in Libya will help to bring the two parts together, because they are the one that destabilized Libya. So if they are looking for a way to bring them together, why not?
Well, then again, Anderson on his part also reaffirmed AFRICOM's commitment to providing support and, of course, underlined the importance of continued coordination to serve regional security. On the part of security now, Barrister, you did say earlier that the U.S. made an error on that ousting of Muammar Gaddafi and not having a strong replacement. Should that error not be corrected? How then can it be corrected, knowing for a fact that right now in Libya, two parallel governments are in that same country right now?
Yeah, it is only when America have a foothold in Libya, depending on the part that gave them the go-ahead. That is the only way, that's the only time they will begin to talk about uniting them.
Okay.
So the discussion now, I think, is for them to even have a base in Libya before they can now look for a way to unite them. That's what I think is going on. Because if you are talking of military cooperation, this and that, what are you arming them for? They are not a country yet. You can't arm the one against the other. That means you want to escalate the war. And when the other person discovers that you are arming this person, they will definitely resist it. So what AFRICOM is doing is to have a base in that country and then begin to do the act of uniting them.
So having a base is really going to make this find the light of the day in terms of uniting them.
That is, as long as AFRICOM is involved, that's what they want.
All right, then. Let's still talk a bit more about Libya. Interestingly, the ICC have gotten a hold of Mr. El Hishri, a former Mitiga prison official in that country, who they said have committed war crimes. And of course, between 2015 and 2020, crimes against humanity. Again, he was taken from Germany to the Netherlands. What does this speak of on the part of officials who are in Africa and carry out these kind of acts and still feel they can get scot-free when they leave the shores of Africa?
Yeah, it's a lesson for them. In fact, they should pick more of them. It's a lesson. Those people who...
You think there are more of them, Barrister?
Yeah, there are. There are more war crime individuals roaming up, like al-Bashir. You know, al-Bashir cannot travel out of Sudan, but he's the wanted person. That's the truth. So when some of them disguise and travel out, because what they did is haunting them, the idea is to arrest them anywhere. I remember when al-Bashir traveled to South Africa, and the ICC was about to come for him before he quickly left that country. So whenever you are declared wanted by ICC, anywhere in the world, you are a suspect and you can be arrested. That's the truth. So African leaders or African strong men who feel that nothing can happen, they should be wary. That's the truth. You know, I told you one time that, look, In Nigeria, there are people that cannot leave Nigeria after what they have done. I told you. And it may happen. It's just that you need to activate it. Yes, you need to activate it and tell the ICC the crimes these people have committed with evidence and all that. And when there's enough, they will go for them.
Now, Barrister, activating these particular statements that you did mention here, where, persons in the country would tell the ICC the kind of crimes that these people are committing. Mr. El Hishwi did, of course, was in charge of the correctional center, so to say, where thousands of persons were detained for prolonged periods, and of course, there were situations of rape and of course murder in the prison at the time. With these kind of impunity, let me use that word for lack of better words, what exactly do you think the governments in power at the time, if they are not complicit, did to curb these kind of accusations before it gets to this level?
You are the government in power, so who will arrest you? You are the government in power. It's just that the victims are the ones that cried out to human rights organizations, to international community, and they get to know what is going on. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the government in power may not arrest the man because he's working for them. That's the truth. Even if you ask them, they will tell you they are not aware of what he did.
But then again, Barrister, now this man has been arrested. The ones who were in power at the time are still free.
No. Look, we are looking at the individual who committed whatever. Are you getting what I'm saying? The government may be in power, but they didn't send you the message you carried out. The government in power, which of the government? Is it the one in the south or the one in the north? Yeah, you have two governments in Libya as of today. Is that not true?
Right.
So we are not talking of the government in power now. It is those whose record are known to the ICC. They are the ones they will go after. Like in Nigeria now, the person that shot you at toll gate. Yes, the person that did the actual shooting, who gave the order, they are the ones that they may be looking for when the chiefs are down. Because somebody gave the order. In the military circle, when you take people to operation, you are the one that will order them what they will do in the battlefield.
Well, huge questions have been asked on who gave the order.
Who gave the order? Yes, that's what we are looking for. Because the government may not know what they have done. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Right.
So it is when they now get hold of them, they will now explain what happened and why they did what they did. That's the truth.
All right, then, Barrister, let's jump to another conversation. And this time we're going to Sudan, where, as it stands, Barrister, the paramilitary rapid support forces again has taken control of a transport junction, known as Babanusa, in the country's oil-producing southern region. Another major concern in Sudan as it stands. How can this be curbed to the barest minimum in the nearer days? You would also recall that Donald Trump, of course, with the help of the UAE, are having a conversation with the Sudanese government to see how this can be put to an end. But there are still attacks ongoing by the rapid support forces.
David, I told you that I think God made a mistake when he created Africa as a continent. Seriously.
How do you mean, Barrister?
No, from the look of things, it's like we are not worthy to be human beings because we're a disgrace to the human race. Africa, we are a disgrace to the human race. No thanks to our leaders. As I talk to you now, one country and one man is making peace in Africa in 3 different places. You are looking at Rwanda and the
DRC.
Congo.
Yes.
Donald Trump. You are looking at which other country? The Sudan now.
Sudan and, of course, the RSF.
So he want to make peace there too. Is that not true?
Right.
One man. What does that? And then, of course, Nigeria. Nigeria, they had to send them missiles. And in all these things, you are talking of terrorists. Terrorists that are disturbing the main government. What does that tell you? That means you are not worthy to be government in power. When people can come and separate the fight, it's like two fighting. And who are you fighting? The main government is fighting what? Terrorists, rebels. And it has attracted the attention of the international community, and they want to make peace between you. That means you are not worthy to be government. Seriously. You are not supposed to be in office. And that is a fact. So when a man is doing all these peace moods for you, then tomorrow you come and tell me that America and the Western world, they don't want Africa to do. Are you not the one inviting them? Tell me. All these peace moves they are making for you now, is it not for your own good? Then after doing all these things, tomorrow you now come and call them names, say they are the problem of Africa.
But Barrister, before now, there's been this humanitarian truce that have been agreed upon between the RSF and the Sudanese army. Why do you think, from your own perspective, the RSF is violating that truce?
Because they feel they have upper hand. If you're a government, you don't need any appeasement for any rebel group.
Barrister, if you say they have upper hand, are you saying that the RSF is totally bigger than the Sudanese army?
Is it not obvious? Where were you when they violated the humanitarian agreement you made? Where were you? You are the one to enforce it. You are the government. I mean, look at it yourself. These guys in fact, they have upper hand. Seriously. For them to occupy swaths of land in your own country, and they are holding court there, that means you have lost it. You have lost your sovereignty. You have lost your authority.
Is there a possibility that this RSF is far greater than not just the army, but the government in power?
As long as they are a rebel group, they are not supposed to be disturbing you as a government. It is your power to do all it takes to bring them to their knees, bring them to surrender. I mean, rout them brutally.
Is the Sudanese government overwhelmed, Barrister?
Can't you see it? Can't you see it? The same way Nigerian government is overwhelmed. Is there any other explanation? So, you know, if a whole giant of Africa will be put on their toes by a rebel and a rascally group, and the president could not do anything except to be deceiving himself, it means that something is wrong somewhere. You cannot handle them. Don't deceive yourself. You cannot.
But Barrister, I'm trying to understand what you mean by we cannot handle them. Are you saying that the Nigerian army, as it stands, cannot rout out these bandits and terrorists in Nigeria?
If they can, we will not be talking about it.
Why would you believe that they can't at this stand?
Because as I talk to you now, they have taken away some villages in Plateau and Benue. They have occupied those villages. They have occupied the homes of people. And they have renamed those villages. And they are living there for more than 5 years now. And the owners of those villages are in IDP camp. And the government cannot do anything. What does that tell you? Please, David, what does that tell you? What other evidence do you need for somebody to tell you that these terrorists, in fact, they are bigger than the government as it is?
Well, some have said, Barrister, that this is clearly the political will that is not there, but not just the military not being strong enough to rout out these people.
Well,
what's your position with that?
If you don't have the political will, it means that what? You are helpless. David, there's no explanation. There's no explanation you can give anybody that you, the government, have sworn to protect life and property. And when the occasion arises, you could not. The people of Benue and Plateau that in IDP camp, what do you think is going through their mind now? And wait a minute, they said over 200 children have been born in that IDP camp. 200 children with no future, no nothing. When they grow up, what do you think will happen? Wouldn't they ask questions? Wouldn't they ask their parents, why are we here? And then what will now happen? You can see now. Let the government dislodge those people. Then I know that, yes, they will now show that, yes, they have the capacity. And not talking and making noise all over the place.
Well, the National Security Advisor, Barrister, did say that the children that are in with the bandits at Niger State are doing okay and would still be reunited with their parents. That indication is the fact that, yes, there is some level of communication with these bandits. Barrister, what's your position with that statement? Because some have said that it's more like the NSA has more intel than the ordinary Nigerian. Thus, the reason why he made those statements.
They have exposed themselves that they are talking with the terrorists. And for him to say they're in good condition, that means the other side have given them assurance.
What should they do, Barrister? These are clearly a human shield we're talking about.
No. They will give you that excuse that they don't want to bombard them because of collateral damage, because of the whatever. Are you serious? So you mean when these guys are coming to kidnap people, did they go with the victims in their custody? The answer is no. So all those excuses is what you tell people when you don't want to do anything. There must be a way to get these people to surrender. Okay.
Which again, Sheikh Gumi has said is by negotiation. Don't you think?
Hold on. After negotiating, for reasons best known to them. I'm not joking. You can even spray something within the houses where they are, and all of them will just go on sleep. Yes. There are things like that.
But then again, Barrister, the conversation is quite intense, and I would really want you to also chime in on the fact that the president of Nigeria is granting opposition leader Diaz the asylum in Nigeria. Your position with that particular statement?
It's just that I would say maybe on humanitarian ground, but if you ask me, I don't see the need for that whatever. After all, the other man was given asylum in Senegal also. He was sent there. They allowed him to go. Maybe Nigeria decided to secure this other, maybe for peace to prevail. Because the ECOWAS members are already talking with them to return back to democracy. But does it not bother you that it is always the election in Africa that causes problem? No, does it not bother you? That will tell you that leaders in Africa, they don't know what is democracy. They are just saying it with their mouth. In practice, they are not ready for it. Go and check. Every election in Africa always turn out to be a source of coup and problem. That means the people that are practicing this, they don't know what it is. What is wrong if you can conduct a free and fair election? Either you win or you lose out. What is wrong? Is it not this manipulation during the election and all that causes problem, causes protests? If you do a free and fair election, everybody will see it. Nobody will complain. But African leaders, no. Doing something with the due process and under with the law, with the cut-out rule, the way it has been outlined. They don't know, it's not in their DNA. Except you cause problem, they will not know that you're a strong man.
Barrister, talking about leadership, I would also want to talk about institutions. ECOWAS, as it stands, is mediating with Guinea-Bissau'S transitional leaders over the crisis so that they can return back to democracy. One major statement that was made by former President Goodluck Jonathan, who again was an observer at that election, was the fact that he was clear that that election was free and fair, but the result was held back. Why, after such revelation, ECOWAS is still not just having these conversations, but still trying to soft pedal on what they are supposed to take hard stick on, according to some quarters now?
The two contestants said that they are the winner. This one is saying I'm the winner. This one is saying, that's an election that results have not been released. So that will tell you that there is something wrong somewhere. And so the observers, they wouldn't want to hit up the police. That's why most of them, when they go there, diplomatically, they will tell you that, yes, it went well. So that the coupists will not use their own word to do whatever. But any observer will know that something went wrong. In Nigeria, the people that came here, is it not when they left and they are safely in their country that some of them started making statements about how the election was? But when they were here, they were all saying that the election was free and fair, this and that. That's not the normal thing. So the one that happened in Tanzania,
yes,
the AU congratulated that woman with all she did.
And afterwards came with the contradictory statements.
But the damage has already been done now. She has been sworn in and accepted. So what are they? Well, okay, ask yourself, why are they speaking with both sides?
Barrister, should there be stronger sanctions to leadership in Africa that goes about doing these kind of things within the electoral space?
It is this AU that I'm blaming. I'm telling you, in fact, to tell you that they don't even have the spine to talk to any country. The headquarters were built by China, and I'm sure the money stolen by one politician in Nigeria can build that building, can construct that building, three of it, over and over again. One money stolen by one politician in Nigeria can give that AU building to Africa 3 times. But what did they do? They allowed China to build it for them. And when they go there, whatever they are discussing, China is listening in their home country until it was discovered. So that will tell you that these guys, they don't have respect for themselves. Imagine building a headquarter for a continent. They don't have shame. They don't have respect for themselves. That means in the whole of Africa, you cannot contribute money and build that thing for yourself.
But Barrister, still staying with Guinea-Bissau, with the revelation by former President Goodluck Jonathan about that election and how the coup was announced by the embattled president, as it were, isn't that a stronger statement for ECOWAS to raise the strong stick on Guinea-Bissau's transitional government?
The thing is that a coup has happened. Jonathan did not see it as a coup. He says it's a ceremonial coup. Whatever it is, at least somebody did not die. But the two contestants are out of the country. And so maybe with what they are doing now, when they return the country back to democracy, maybe the new persons will now put on their thinking cap in whatever they are doing. That is the truth. No, it doesn't matter who announced whatever. The fact remains that the two contestants are out of the country. They have been sent out of the country. So the country can now reinvent itself and then chart a new course. That is the way I look at it. Because if the two parties are in Guinea-Bissau now, you can say, well, maybe they will play a role or another, but they are not in the country. They have been sent away. And they have accepted their fate. So what else is left?
All right, then. Barrister, before I let you go, Donald Trump will be meeting with Felix Tshisekedi, the president of the DRC, and, of course, with Paul Kagame of Rwanda this Thursday. Any hope of the ongoing war in the DRC coming to an end anytime soon?
Look, as long as they are going to Washington to sign the agreement, there will be a result. Yes. America will use their big superpower status to broker peace. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's what you suffer when you have surrendered your right and your sovereignty. you no longer have it.
Barrister, before I let you go, this particular deal, peace brocade between Paul Kagame of Rwanda, who again has denied any inclusion or relationship with the M23 rebels.
No, you continue to tell lies. Then why are you going for a peace deal?
The exact question I'm asking you, Barrister.
So that will tell you he's lying. For them to even invite, that means they have seen that he has a hand in it. So why are you going if you don't have anything? Well, look, these people, their middle name is lies. And when they are telling this lie, they tell it in a very stupid manner. We are seeing what you are doing. We are seeing your handwork. References have been made to you, yet you are denying. I mean, what is the meaning? Why not tell America, look, I have nothing to do with this, I'm not going. Then they will now watch out. Is that not? They will now watch out how your hand is in this matter. They will see your hand in this matter.
All right then, Barrister, this is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment of the African News. We've been talking with Barrister Darlington Agumo, who is a legal practitioner right here in Nigeria and also a political and public affairs commentator. Barrister, thank you so very much for being here.
It's my pleasure, David.
We'll take a very short break now. When we return, more stories will be up next. Please do stay with us. Glad to have you back. It is still the African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Now to more stories. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have confirmed no fewer than 37 persons is missing after a boat capsized on River Lwangatshimo in the southern Congo's Kasai province. According to local administrator Nico Kitambala, the boat was carrying 42 passengers from Luva town heading to Nangulula when it lost control in the middle of the crossing in Shikapa territory. Kitambala stated that some 37 persons were still missing as at Monday, adding that the death toll could be high and that the search team were doing everything they could, but that the river was very rough. He attributed the accident to human error, adding that several persons have been arrested in connection with the incidents as the investigation continues. Water transport is common in Congo due to mostly impassable roads. The accident came days after dozens of persons were reportedly missing following another incident in Lake Mai Ndobe. Moving on to other stories, the World Health Organization says 31 out of 38 confirmed Ebola cases have resulted in deaths in southern Congo. Officials warn that the fatality rate has nearly doubled within a week, raising fresh concerns about the pace of the outbreak. Over 900 contacts have been identified as authorities race to contain the virus. Vaccinations efforts began on Sunday, targeting high-risk individuals and frontline workers. WHO officials say over 500 health workers and contacts have already received vaccinations for protection. About 760 doses were delivered to Bulape, the center of the outbreak, while another 45,000 doses were expected soon in Kinshasa. The outbreak, first announced on September the 5th, has now spread from 2 districts to 4. Additional vaccine batches have been approved and are being flown into Bulape. Moving on, a monthly report from Sovereign Fund Tracker, Global SWF, says that Africa's state-owned institutions are now managing a record $1 trillion in assets. It explained that assets management by public pension funds, central banks, and sovereign wealth funds have grown as the continent increasingly turns inward for investment due to cuts in concessional finance and aid. According to the report, African institutions are at an all-time high, with much of the $1 trillion designed to catalyze foreign direct investments into Africa. According to Global SWF, 5 new sovereign wealth funds launched this year alone include BSWF in Botswana, FIS-RDC in the Democratic Republic of Congo, ESWF in Eswatini, KSWF in Kenya, and OSWF in Nigeria's Oyo State. The Libyan Investment Authority, with $68 billion in assets under management, is the largest among Africa's roughly 33 sovereign wealth funds. However, global SWF data show that funds in sub-Saharan Africa, manage just 1% of the total $14.3 trillion in assets held globally by sovereign wealth funds. And from that story, we'll go straight to talking some African business. As this stands, Uganda has completed drilling the minimum number of wells needed to launch commercial oil production at the Albertine Greben project. The state-run Ugandan National Oil Company says output is expected to begin in the second half of the year. The Telenga and Kingfisher oil field sits in western Uganda, near the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo. The fields are jointly owned by Total Energies China CNOOC and the UNOC. UNOC said 156 wells required for the initial phase of production have been drilled out of a total 457 planned for the lifespan of the fields. At full capacity, the projects are expected to deliver about 230,000 barrels of crude per day. The company also confirmed approval of the configuration for a planned $4 billion refinery. Uganda recently raised its recoverable crude reserves by 18%, bringing the total to 1.65 billion barrels. Still talking business and the economy, South Africa's economic growth slowed in the third quarter of 2025 as expected, but analysts heralded a pickup in fixed investment for the first time in a year as a bright spot that could lift the future growth rate if sustained. Africa's biggest economy grew 0.5% in seasonal adjusted quarter-on-quarter terms, but slower than revised second quarter growth of 0.9%. 9 of the 10 sectors tracked by Statistics South Africa recorded higher output, with mining and agriculture performing well, though manufacturing production slowed and electricity, gas and water output contracted. The South African economy has struggled to build momentum over the past decade, with annual gross domestic product growth averaging less than 1%. Reports say investors are feeling more positive about South Africa this year and are buying more stocks at Bound because they think the government is exhibiting financial discipline and will lower inflation. And from business, we'll go straight talking sports. Algeria's build-up to the 2025 African Cup of Nations have been hit by early complications, with Manchester City reportedly asking Algerian Football Federation to delay Ryan Ait-Nouri's release until December the 17th. The request clashes with coach Vladimir Petkovic's plan to assemble his full squad on December 15 and forces Algeria to confront disruption just as preparations are meant to begin in earnest. In spite of FIFA rules allowing national teams to call up players 13 days before a tournament, some European clubs continue to push for extended availability. Bayer Leverkusen has also asked to retain Maza for 2 more matches. Petkovic now faces a difficult decision between starting camp with an incomplete squad or entering a battle with a club, an unwelcome challenge for a coach heading into his first major competition with Algeria. Still talking sports. Meanwhile, Liverpool's manager Arne Slot has welcomed that Mohamed Salah will join Egypt's national team on December the 15th for the African Cup of Nations. The announcement ends weeks of uncertainty over the forward's availability. Slot acknowledged the importance of the tournament to Salah, who will miss Liverpool's busy festive fixtures. AFCON is scheduled to kick off in late December, leaving the Reds without their top scorer at the critical point. The manager also addressed Salah's absence from the Premier League's match against West Ham United, insisting that the forward remained fully committed to the squad despite frustration over not starting. Slot praised Salah as a top professional who continues to support his teammates. Liverpool fans now hope their talisman returns to from AFCON in top form as the club faces a demanding run of matches. And with that sports story, we've come to the end of the African News right here on Voice of the People Television. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we're at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Thank you so very much for being a part of this broadcast. I am David Edwin. You have a good afternoon.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis,